Welcome to the Rip Comics Podcast. Today we have Will Diaz from Toy and Comic Junkie and Roland Perez from Metal Jaw Comics. You may have noticed I called him Perez and I call my name Perez, but that's just because we're from the same mother. Anyway, we're going to talk about comics, and more comics. I don't even know how many. That's a lot of comics. But we're going to have our hot comics, the can't miss comics, and then comics that unfortunately are going to be leaving us probably in October or November are some final, we'll be saying goodbye to a couple of titles that are pretty well known.
So what's on the agenda for today, Rob? What besides? Do you have hot picks from this week by any chance? Because I can't wait for that. I picked up some books this week, and
yeah, unfortunately, you could only show us one, but that's okay. No, I'm just kidding. Hot picks. Well, you know, it was an interesting day at the comic book shops. I only went to two, and I was taking a look at what was on the internet and all that kind of good stuff. And my pick, I'm hoping it's not the same as yours, but this is what I thought. This is the one I thought was one of the must picks. Now there were lots of really cool comics out there. You actually have one that I had actually talked about in the show last week. And we'll discuss that if it's not the one that you picked. But anyway, I think that this one is an important issue because there's been a lot of talk about what's currently happening, Null, and all these things. This actually has several crazy things that are happening in this one book. I don't want to focus too much on this because, you know what I mean? We're just kind of spotlighting it. But there are some major appearances in this. First appearances possibly. You know, everybody keeps saying, you know, this is the first appearance of Codex and all that kind of stuff, but there's the name of the character still hasn't been identified. I know that the name Codex is mentioned in the book. There is also a bombshell at the very end of the book, and I think that's something that was brought up in the Key Collector, and that's your segue, Will. Anyway,
oh yes,
yeah, but we'll when I pass it to you, we'll go ahead and talk about that. But there was a bombshell dropped in that. And I don't know if that's what, I mean, I did see at the end, I don't see, and I look at it and it says Codex and then it says Super Agent. Well, we do see Super Agent Venom type character in this book, which that's what I'm saying. There's so many different things. You're kind of like, is this a red herring? It's actually, this is what we're supposed to be look like. You know, is Dylan actually a larger component to this entire storyline than we're actually realizing? And then we're going to actually go back all the way to the book with Dylan's first appearance, which actually might become the biggest and ultimate book of this entire thing. This is the other cover. Now, this is probably the harder to get cover between the two. Y'all are seeing this one, the Stegman cover? Okay.
Yeah, I see it. I clearly see it.
This one, I did not see at all. Now, I only saw it at one place, and that was in the glass shelf, and they were already charging $9.99 for that cover. For this,
why didn't you pick it up?
Oh, I already have that one. So.
Oh, you already okay. So it's not that hard to find then.
Well, no, this one was acquired through pre by almost a month and a half ago.
Okay, so you pre-ordered it.
Yeah. So that
which is the way to go.
Right. No, and we have stressed that about you know we have all been on the tail end growing up through the years collecting comics, being the little one outside going, I want that one, and then they run out and we're but now we're capable of being the other side of things. But anyway, but yeah, this is my pick, Venom 27. There's a lot of things going on with this. It's leading. It's like a really good book if you want to jump in. The whole virus thing, jumping in because it's preparing you for their big chingazo at the Venom showdown, hoedown that's going to happen in October, November. But that's the one that I'm going for. And so, Will, what did you find this past week? What was the can't miss? And then I'll throw you my honorable mentions after your thing. What was that one book that you definitely had to get in your hands or the one that you feel that everybody should have been running after that same book?
Oh, I don't know if everybody should be running after what I get.
Your personal. What's your personal?
I'm all out. I'm all over the place. It
You're
depends,
out, brother. You're out.
You see, there's people who read comics, who read the comics and go after the storyline.
Yeah. My brother's currently still reading the book right now.
Well, there's people who actually go around looking for the covers, that they're interested in the cover, the artwork. and I stand more on the side of the cover work. I don't have time to read all their storylines, especially with so many books coming out at one time. You really have to put aside a couple of hours a week to keep up with what's going on. And if you're working,
and that's why there's shows like this. We're going to help people keep up with all that. That's what we're trying to do, right?
Well, I was pleasantly surprised with when I walked in. I picked up. I don't want to say that this probably is the one that I was.
You were looking for.
This is the one that I was waiting for.
That's the one. That's the one I was going to say is. The
man.
honorable mention. Roland was there on the episode. I said that particular cover. Remember, I said that particular cover, the variant cover, is the one to get and see. And so Will has it on hold for me right now, currently.
So I'll put this over here.
Because I did run. Don't get me wrong. I did run across the one that had the closed cover, and it was just the Darth Vader, and then you only saw like two figures on the bottom.
Right.
Yeah, there it is.
I did pick up the Venom.
Yeah.
As well, the number 27.
Yeah.
But I pre-ordered that one.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, here it is. This is the one that was that was the other pop-up surprise.
Yes. Yeah, you got to hold it. Yeah, a certain way. Yeah.
It's a cool looking cover.
Yeah.
This is the Capullo cover, I believe, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
There was another one that I wanted. It had Superman playing electric guitar. That was going for about $30 at the shop that I was at. But I'm not going to put down $30 down on that book. I'm not a crazy DC fan.
Yeah, neither is DC. It seems like. But anyway, go ahead. We'll talk about that later.
But yeah, I'm lately. Excuse me, Corona. Lately, I've been looking at the other publishers like Boom and Dynamite and
Penthouse,
and that one as well. And kind of looking at the other titles. Big Girls I picked up as well.
Yeah, I picked up that one. Yeah.
And there's another title that I'm after. Two other titles that I'm going to be picking up. It's Bad Mother and Miles to Go. Those two.
Those are future releases, correct? Those are still. I
want to say Bad Mother already came out.
Oh, okay.
I believe Bad Mother number 1 came out already. Number 2 is coming up.
Okay.
But I'm looking at those two. Okay, if you're in this to invest as a collector investor, what are the 3 books you pick up right now? What are the 3 books that you should have in your collection? Me, it's The Ultimate Fallout number 4. I think you should have that. I think you should have Amazing Spider-Man number 300 for sure. And then the third one,
I'm confused. Wait. When you're saying this, are you saying that if the bottom fell out of all of the comic book industry again?
Well, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, regardless, I think if you're an investor collector, what you should have, what's your three books you should have in your collection?
You know what? That we could actually explore that in another episode, but I like that topic. It's almost like your portfolio. What is for the long-term investment? What are the key books to kind of picking up? And I think you do pose an interesting question. You the Spawn 300, Spider-Man 300, definitely. Miles Morales, the Ultimate Fallout, that seems to be a good one. Of course, if you start going further back into comics, history, there's tons of comics.
Yeah, but we don't have $10,000 for a piece of crap.
Right.
Amazing Spider-Man number 1.
Let me pose a question to you.
I'm not saying the book is crap. I'm saying grade-wise, $10,000 won't get you a 9.8 Amazing Spider-Man number 1. It's going to get you. You a really low number.
So based on that, we're talking specifically about Spider-Man and the Venom. Those are 2
established books.
Yeah. Well, okay. We're talking about Miles Morales, specific Spider-Man, and Venom, Eddie Brock. Now, when we're comparing books of that nature, like books that have skyrocketed through the roof are like, Venom 3, third printing. No. Will that hold? Yeah. That particular book? Do you think it will hold that value and retain and continue to retain, or do you think they'll see a sliding off? So like if people are going crazy for, I don't know, dude. I'm trying to compare somebody else that first appearance of Harley Quinn in the Batman Adventures, whatever that adventure book. You know, do you think that will keep going up in price, or do you think, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. The null appearance. I think it's number 4, third printing, right? Is what it is.
Well, it's actually, well, well, see, that's the thing. The
Yeah.
debate continues, but where he's
Okay.
actually
Well,
sitting on a chair,
on the throne.
that's Venom 3, that's book 3, book
Okay.
3, printing 3. Yeah.
Okay. That one will retain value.
Okay.
That will continue. It may stay where it is. It may continue to rise. Jim Lee on that one, right, Roland? Roland, that's Jim Lee.
Yeah, this was Chris Claremont's last issue.
Okay, that's Chris Claremont. Okay.
No.
Well,
The
no,
writer.
the
But
writer.
Jim Lee, but yeah, I understand.
Yeah, he kicked him out,
Yeah.
just like he did
No,
in
it
all
did.
these DC editors. Anyway.
Okay, so hey, I'm just when what you have in your collection, I think you should always have tried and true books. And when you start to dabble out there in books that, you know, that's a cool book to have. When you go out there and start dabbling, you got to be, you got to, I guess, just be careful with what you're getting if you're collecting to invest. But to collect to invest, I always stay with the tried and true.
Tried and true.
Thor
yeah.
Thor 169. Thor 169. I picked that book up earlier as it's a Silver Age book, but I had a good gut feeling that that book was going to be a key. It was a key already, but a key to what's going on now. And it is.
Well, let me ask this. I mean, have we seen any bump up in that? See, the thing is,
Yes,
what I think.
We have seen.
Well, I don't know. Since when you picked it up to now, what is
yes.
Yes,
I mean, I picked it up for $35, and that was a low grade. So I'm seeing books about $125 right now that you could have picked up for $40 to $50 back in January.
Or in general?
No, averaging about $125 for a really good graded book, not slabbed, but just a good raw grade, raw book around a 9 point, anywhere in the above an 8.5.
Does it bother you?
45 to 50.
Does it bother you when you can acquire a Silver Age of that nature with it being a key, but then you see an interpreted version of this that's going for about half of that? Because, when you start talking about Black Winter, some of these Thor number 5s can range anywhere from $50 to $80 depending on you getting it raw. Now, I'm not even talking about if it's graded, but isn't that
It's kind of like this, Rob. It's kind of like this. When you go to work, right? Let's say you started working in 1985 and you went into a job making $5 an hour, then, it's entry level. But now it's 2020 and a guy comes in entry level making $15 an hour. It's just you're starting off at a different wage for the same skill because of the inflation, because of because it's now the future. So that book is coming in at this inflation rate compared to the inflation rate of that book. That's the way I see it. So so there's a lot of retirees that look at you when you go into the workforce. They're like, dude, when I first started, I was only making $10 an hour. You're coming in making $25 an hour for doing the same crap. That's the way the book is, in my opinion. That Thor 169 grew from what is it? What's 35 cents?
Yeah.
What's the?
Yeah. We're talking about cents and stuff.
So you're talking,
but what I guess what I'm saying is the popularity. The
popularity.
Well, I guess, but what I'm trying to say is that if you put those two books face to face, I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying a lot of the newer possible collectors are going to gravitate more towards the Thor book, like the more recent Thor book. And then they don't dig into the numbers. We play around with numbers all the time. We're always trying to find out printing and all this kind of stuff. To me, a book in that Silver Age category, then again, most of them are newsstand for a good portion of those. And then your quality, that's it. Whatever the print and run, there's no more being printed of that.
Exactly.
4 or 5 is still being reprinted. We're still like at third printing or whatever the case may be.
Great point. Okay, great point.
No. I guess does that annoy you sometimes?
No, not at all. It's the name of the game.
That's the name of the game.
No one forced me to buy that book. I bought it because I wanted it, and I think you make a great point.
No, that's good. That's good.
I think you make a great point. The fact is that in 1962 or whenever this book was put out, no one said, "Hey, let's make a second printing. Let's make a third printing." what drives the price of almost anything in this world, it's its scarcity, the scarcity of that product or skill.
But
and the less they are, the more desirable they are, and the demand is higher, therefore rising the price of that issue or that product skill. So to me, there's not going to be another Thor 169 printing. That's it. The number of number of issues that were made, that's it.
Yeah, per that one. But
I got a very, very scarce issue, or a very rare. I got something that doesn't have any other doppelgangers. So to speak.
No. The only other doppelgangers now that have now Marvel through its history has had ways of bringing these out, and those were like those Marvel. Was it Marvel Tales?
It was Marvel Tales.
Marvel,
and then also Masterpiece Fantasy.
Right, and then they would like bring out these special, and then they would collect them or whatever, and then they had ways of strategically re-releasing some of these books, and then you have the True Believer series that they repackage the whole thing with a different title, and it's like Galactus or Thor's buddies or whatever, you know what I mean? And then
they have the facsimiles.
Yes,
which are almost
those are
exact replicas.
What I like about those is that you get them in that clean paper, not newspaper print. So you actually get, it's like the way we used to get them in the library roll. Remember, we'd get the books and they would all be nicely reproduced, and you would get these shiny replicas of these old comics, and you're like, it wasn't like this. And then you get that newspaper print, and it was like they were more newspapery, and your hands would get, some kind of smudges sometimes.
You'd get the silly putty out.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, I love that.
Get the old silly putty out. Oh wow, it still has a card in there. Very cool. Okay.
What are you doing opening the book?
And you mentioned
open the book.
You mentioned your honorable mentions and stuff like that, and mine were very similar.
My goodness.
Yeah, we were right on beat, I guess, with the same kind of comics. Anything before we leap into the next segment? Was there anything in the free comic book day did you end up picking up? Did you wanted to pick up? I saw a couple of issues. I did actually pick up some, but was there any of those, or you just were fixated on the the issues at hand that you were trying to acquire?
Well, I picked up the Blade Runner book, and I picked up the Hillbilly book and the Mercado book.
I did get that one too. I thought that was a really cool one. I actually picked up Little Lulu for my son.
I was gonna get that, but they only gave me 3 choices. Is that the way they should be doing it, or they can do it any way they wish?
They can do it any way they wish. You go to Texas Toys.
Like a comic book store charging $10 for a brand new comic.
Yeah, I guess they could do what they want.
I mean, if you want to go into that topic, we can. Talking about how
I think he set that ball on a tee right there for you.
Okay, so check this out. You go to your local comic book store. You have a box pull box. Go up to your pull box. You say, "Hey, I'm here to pick up my stuff." They bring it out and they say, "Oh yeah, these are no longer cover price because the book has increased in value." What do you mean it's increasing? Yeah, so that book for $3.99 is now $10.99. Why? Well, because people are just picking it up like gangbusters. But I put it in my box. Doesn't that lock in the price for that cover?
Like
that's an interesting. I'll go first, Roland. You want to comment on that? I think that's an interesting dilemma because you figure you've been wanting that book regardless if it was hot or not. You were going to buy that book hot or not. You don't just because there were some people that were like, that book's not good anymore. Just throw it back. And that sucks for the retailer, but at the same time, for the person that's a diehard fan that's been tried and true in that bookstore and buying it consistently and picking it up, that's kind of dirty. But Roland, you want to comment on that?
I mean, they're used car salesmen. I mean, these comic book stores aren't chain. They're mom and pop places, and they're going to swindle you whenever they can. They're making a buck. These guys, I mean, not all of them, but I think we've seen enough from growing up to that's what they do. from hiding Bloodshot #1s to just, you know, holding that book. I mean, it's like whenever, you know, it used to be with cards too. They would hold off, you know, oh, by the way, here's that Sergei Fedorov rookie card. It's like, wait a second, what? They're out to get your book. I mean,
well, I think Roland has a point though, because they're the ones receiving the books from the distributor. They can go through the books and pick out what they want to keep, you know, and put whatever they want on the shelf. I think that's their right as the retailer to decide, you know what, how many books to put on a shelf, how many to keep behind the counter. That's cool. Okay. But when it comes to a pool box and that you request.
No, I agree with you on that. That you should, it should be a locked-in price, because
yes, it is.
It's like your subscription. You know, it's like, look, I'm giving you business instead of going straight direct, you know, to
anywhere else.
Yes, you know, straight from, you know, just or even going digital. Well, again, that's for people who like reading the comics. I'm saying, because I don't. If I get comics, it's not at all for investment, as you can see how I handle my comics. But for something like that, you're buying a product from them, and it's almost like, since it's in your box, that's almost like your guaranteed price of, right. You know, it should be in there. You shouldn't not have it in your box and him sell it to someone else for $15, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, wait, what happened to my ball? Oh, well, I had to sell it. I mean, to me, it's to say, if it's in your box, that's like your subscription. You should automatically have that in there for the price. That's the cover price, unless it's unless it's considered a back issue. It should never go above cover price if it's in your pull box.
That's good business. That's the way you handle your business. And if they don't, then you don't patronize them anymore. Go down the street, find someone else, find another outlet for your goods. Mm-hmm. That's going to determine, the consumer will determine whether you fail or pass. And we have several bookstores here in town, no names, but I think you know, besides there's local comic shops who deal with the new books, and then there's local comic shops who do the resale of key books and stuff like that. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about those that have the subscription directly to Diamond and get the books from them and put them on the shelves every week. There's one bookstore that I deal with now, almost, you know, that's it. I get everything pre-ordered from them, and they have been
I think
really good about make sure it comes in and it's on time, and they never upcharge me.
Yeah, you've been 99. Well, let's go 95% there, and what you do is, in case you want to pick up something extra, you go check out and you patronize. You go to, you know, I don't want to. We're not trying to single out anybody, because then people will figure it out.
I will. I'll single it out right now. You know why? Because I'm the consumer, and I'm telling you the truth. I will put out the names, but I'm not going to do it on Rob's show out of respect, unless Rob wants me to. But here locally in the 78411
the
zip
views
code,
expressed in this show are entirely of Will Diaz.
Okay, hold on.
No, I'm just kidding. It's a joke.
No, I'm not gonna.
No. You do bring up a point, because I mean, I'm not here to try to, you know, take anything away from anybody, because let's just face it. If you went out right now and the comic that I recommended, and of course the comic that you recommended, you know, they're not going to be able to find those comics. Now, there is one store that does have a crap load of them, and unfortunately, that's, you know, one of the stores.
You know what you do, Rob? You know what you do? This is what you do. Go on eBay. When you go to eBay, you type in the comic book you want. You filter it by ending the soonest, the one that's the auction that's ending the soonest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you do this every day, and you put your title in, and there's going to be one guy or girl out there who has posted that book and doesn't care what it sells for, and has it at 99 cents, and no one knows about that person, and it's going to expire in less than 1 hour, and you put your bid in. That's what I do when I can't find a book. If I can't find the book through my tried and true local comic book shop, I go on eBay. Sorry. Or I go on Let It Go. or I go on Macari, or I go on another comic book service online, or I do what you do, Rob. You scour the globe for that book.
Yeah,
I just donate it to the library.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm the Carmen Sandiego of. Well, that's because that's the nature. I've always, you could ask my brother and everybody that I used to hunt CDs and hard to find movies and all that kind of stuff. So I know the way that the dynamic of the way the international market can work. The only problem is that you have to be real careful, because if you end up in a country that they actually have a different language book, you're actually going to get a foreign version of that book. So there's actually countries I won't get involved in. Back in the day, it would be like you'd have to be careful with Mexico, because you're actually going to get Mexican products. You're not going to get.
But isn't that cool to have
No, it is. But
La Araña, Hombre Araña, or whatever it is.
I bring up this thing. What is the print runs of that? Because I figured that would be rarer than some of the American versions, and those might actually be worth more, but they don't. Are you going to have an American guy pay for that? They're not going to want to pay.
Get this. When I was on my deployment, we stopped off in Crete, and I just so happened to get a X-Men comic.
Oh, wow.
Joe Madureira cover. He did it. Years later, it's all in Greek. Everything. Years later, I went to the Comic Con just in the past couple of years in Austin, and it was like a surprise. He showed up, and they're like, "Oh, we got Joe Madureira signing, the first 6 autographs for free, and then after that you'd have to pay." Well, I didn't have anything because I didn't know he was going to be there in Austin, and you could buy a print. And I talked to him. I told him about that Greek comic, and I couldn't remember the number. But when I told him what was on the cover, he goes, "Oh yeah, that was my last issue with X-Men." I was like,
"Wow!" And you could have had it signed.
I could have had it signed.
No, that's cool.
Mexico.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mexico has, when it comes to Spider-Man, and I guess they call it Hombre Araña is what they call it in Mexico, something like that. Okay, so Mexico actually has an issue of Spider-Man that they actually have the storyline changed, the canon story, where Gwen, which one is it, the one that died? Was it Gwen that died? At the hands of, anyways, they have it where she didn't die, where she survives. And it takes it off the canon of Spider-Man,
right?
And that book exists only in Mexico.
And
that Mexican
book.
Maria. I mean, they call her Maria.
Gwen
so
Maria.
What I'm saying is,
with marijuana.
There is scarce books that other countries put out, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I sold a Ghost Rider, Italian version of Ghost Rider not too long ago for about $40, and I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't snap, but it was the cover of the Ghost Rider, the very first issue of Ghost Rider.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, I thought you were going to tell me that. Oh, it didn't snap, but I sent him an Italian copy without him knowing it.
No, he knew it was Italian. Yeah, and I sold that one on Instagram, which, by the way, Instagram is a great source for buying your books as well as Facebook. So if you don't find it,
you got to use all your resources when you're looking for some of these books. If you really, really, truly want to find these books, you are going to have to, what I've been noticing though is even though you can be on top of it, what seems to be happening is that some of these multiple printings, they'll sneak in a sketch print, and if you aren't, it's almost like you have to look daily, because the book will sell out on the internet before you know it. And the one that's bothering me is the one on my Facebook. It's the Venom 25 printing 3 sketch variant. Now they're going to have a regular version of the 25, and it's going to be I think it's the one with Dylan or something like that. Dylan's a dinosaur or he's with the dinosaur and Carnage and whatever, blah, 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 whatever. But the other one got posted out there, I think it was more of an expensive comic. Depending on certain stores, they had it at 29, and then the other stores had it at 49 because that was an incentive book. You could only get it through the stores. But now, if you go search for the stupid thing, it's like $200 and plus on the internet because everybody that listed it, it was sold out. It must have been sold out like in a day or whatever the case may be. I was just kind of curious, and I started searching, and I'm like, wow. The other book is still readily available. You can still pop in pre-orders before it comes out this week. But so I just thought that was kind of. Oh, yeah.
I do want to point out that when you would scour the globe for your issues or your music, this was before eBay. This was before the internet. You would like go on news groups and AOL chat rooms, and like find these.
Yeah, though the bulletin boards and Goldmine magazine, Toy Shop magazine, they'll have like a little ad and then a little rundown, and you end up calling. And then you rack up a long distance bill, and then before you know it, yeah. Anyway, but no, it's a different landscape. But basically, at your fingertips is the globe. If you really want to try to find something, you might be able to find it. I mean, yeah, but that's that was a very interesting point. It is disturbing trend. I think the fact that comics are becoming, well, let me ask this: do you think it's because of the pandemic and that rising costs and bills and all that? Because every time credit card fees, somehow the credit card fees have gone up. We can't use regular money, or they don't the coins or whatever are like hard to come by or whatever. It's forcing people to use paperless. We're using paperless funds. So comic book stores have increased bills when it comes to that for each charge that they have to do and all that kind of stuff. So,
come on, how much is it? I mean, really?
Well, it's like a Mexican restaurant. You go to a Mexican restaurant, oh, credit card fee, you need to pay more, and then you pay more, and then you pay.
Hey, I thought you said Mexican restaurant. You sounded more like welcome to Shitty Walk.
Yes, that too. But anyway, I've been to some restaurants where, and this isn't current. This is at least within the past 2-3 years. I've been seeing little signs posted on their thing due to credit card increase or fee. Nothing under $5 you can't put on a credit card, and
the book's gonna cost you $3.99.
Right. So you're gonna have to buy more automatically because there are some.
Well, who goes to the bookstore and really? I mean, who goes to the bookstore and just buys one book?
All right, but no, it's an interesting
roll.
It's an interesting topic. If anybody has any questions or if they've experienced that before in their store, please let us know. Reply in the comments,
and we will hunt them down.
And we will rip their comic. No, I'm just joking.
We are the regulators.
And
we're a different kind of the boys.
We will go and we will tear every comic book. No, just that's why they call it Rip Comics.
I don't know if you want to go into a deep dive because I mean I'm
deep dive.
I'm not really a big fan of. I mean, I love DC. I love Batman. I love Superman, and then you start getting into all these weird characters all of a sudden. But I definitely want to talk about that because I don't know if this is a coming storm that's going to affect different companies and stuff like that, but it specifically we felt it about 4 or 5 days ago, and it was the fact that DC fired a lot of editors, and some of them were in prominent positions and stuff like that. One of them was the editor-in-chief. These were all
why did they fire them?
Poor performance. Well, again, this isn't well, it's not DC and that's it. I mean, there's all these entities above DC. So DC, is, I mean, I don't know what the C stands for anymore. With Jim Lee having to talk about, no, we're going to keep comics, I guess. But it's them it becomes a business. It doesn't matter, what the fans want anymore. It's going to go back to the basic set, like they're going to have 20 titles. It's going to come down to where you're just going to have the movie tie-ins, the merchandise tie-ins. There's no longer going to have, the gangbuster comic. And that's why it's actually going to be interesting when that Who's Who omnibus comes out, because you're never going to see anything like that again. You're not going to see, these separate comics of, Nort and the Green Lantern Corps. They're not going to put a book out for that. It's going to go down to just merchandising, because the business model is no longer comics for everyone. It's actually funny looking at this old comic. What does it say for DC? DC comics aren't just for kids. Yeah. They tried getting away from the funny books, the comic books, and it, like I said, you have the different model changes. It's not so much just what DC wants, it's now what Warner Brothers Media wants. Hey, guess what? Out of this big pie, here's, like when they got rid of Vertigo, that imprint, all these imprints are going to go away. This is a chance for the independent comic to come back in force, because they're going to be the ones who are, they're not going to care if a minority group is feeling left out in these mainstream comics, because they're going to look at the bottom line. And that's where the independent comics are going to come in. Just different comics. The people that want their stories told are going to go and you can see a lot of that in web comics. There's a lot of comic content online that you don't have to pay, all of a sudden it's $15 for an issue. You're getting good quality, sometimes good quality story and art and stuff like that for free. But because this is going corporate comics is what's going to end up, destroying what we love.
So, so am I getting this right? The comic books are essentially going to be the marketing PR tool to funnel in customers into Warner Brothers' movies or production.
That's what I think.
And that's not a bad idea. That's a great idea.
But what I see a lot of is, and I don't know if we talked about this last episode or not, but that's where you get the no, I think it might have just been an off-camera conversation. You have your comic book fans who are happy that movies are being made, but then you have superhero fans who they know the superheroes by the movies or the cartoon, what's put out there, animation or live action, as to where the source content of us, comics, these people don't know anything about them. I one time had someone, they knew I was a big comic guy. They knew like I was the comic geek, and like they just found something out, and it honestly, they were trying to school me and let me know that, did I know that Nightwing used to be Robin? And I still can't believe
What'd you do, Roll? Did you grab him by the shirt collar and take him to the ground and said, "Of course I know." What I mean?
I was in uniform at the time. I couldn't do that.
Let me catch people up. Back about 4 or 5 days ago, the report came out, and DC major shakeup. The editor-in-chief, among other editors, among the employees laid off, and then Jim Lee was removed from his publishing role. So we had. I'm not going to mention the names. I'm just going to mention the positions. A male was the head editor, and then you got two other males that were also editors. You got VP of marketing, that was a male. Senior VP, male. Another VP of global publishing initiatives and digital strategies, that was a male. And all of them, and then Lee does remain in the company, Jim Lee, that is, as the DC's chief creative officer. That is the initial breakdown of what ended up happening. Jim Lee in recent had come, he had to come and answer something, because basically what ended up happening was, I want to say 1 or 2 days ago, The titles: Young Justice, Teen Titans, John Constantine, Hellblazer, Hawkman, Suicide Squad were named as comics that were ending in November. So when the solicitations came out to I guess the publisher solicitation came out, it was calling that they were stamped with the final issue, that this is going to be the final issue of these particular titles. And there are other titles that are actually out there, but these are more of the prominent titles. Some of these titles are actually, somewhat, successful, I guess. They're in at least the top 50 or whatever. But Jim Lee had to respond to this, and he was basically saying that they were trying to streamline the business, and that they're still in business of comics. The fact that they were asked if comic books were still going to be a thing, they had to. I guess he had to answer to that.
Right.
Says,
apparently a quarter of the business line, a quarter of the products DC was putting out wasn't even breaking even. That's a quote, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were a fourth of what DC is putting out there. The pie wasn't selling. So you can't have that in a business, man. So
that's exactly what I'm saying, is that you have, it's going to be the popular ones, and the books that, like, people love Hawkman for some reason. And nothing against people like Hawkman, but I'm saying, and now it's going to end up having to go back to waiting for a Justice League comic that maybe has a Hawkman story in it for fans to actually get a taste of what they want.
Right. I don't care what people say. When I go look at DC's comic book line on the shelf, I'm like, poof. My brain's like that, poof. Because all of it's just freaking. It's like they throw stuff at the wall, and it doesn't make sense. It's like there's so many different. I mean, if it's like that guy in the basement with the thread pointing to all these clues. That's what DC looks. And then I turn my head around and I see Marvel. And Marvel's consistent with their product line. I understand it. They were ahead of the gate with the movies. They showed everybody how to freaking do an introduction title to their movies, and everybody emulates them. That's the problem. DC cannot compete. They don't have the same people Marvel does. They don't have the same firepower, man, and they're just behind the game. And this is what's happening. You have this shakeup because they're freaking out. Like, we got to keep this boat afloat. How do we do it? And it's just like their comic book line. They're just putting it, they're just whatever we got, let's do it. They're just all over the place, in my opinion.
Right. And what I always thought was funny was that, to me, DC movies just could not hold a light. But to me, DC TV, I thought has been a lot better than Marvel. I can watch The Flash, like they did that Crisis crossover on the shows. Yes. Oh my gosh, my 90s Flash died, brought tears to my eyes. They can do TV well, but for some reason they can't switch it over. Because they're with the TV series, you have time to develop this feeling for these characters. These you get to know the little stories here and there where you can't put in a movie. I remember talking with Rob one time where he was telling me, like, well, the Marvel movies, it takes 20-something movies to tell your story, and I said, well, it's just like Executioner Song, all these crossovers. There would be 20-something issues.
Just like Rise of the Midnight Suns, just like that whole Ghost Rider crossover with.
One thing that did come out, Jim Lee did comment that all the DC stuff is going to be moving to HBO Max. So I'm assuming that is the backbone that they need in order to sustain, like the Netflix with some of the Marvel imprints. But now they're now on Disney. So
HBO Max has Doom Patrol, which I started watching Doom Patrol, and it's actually really good. Then I walked away because it just started meandering and a little bit. But I thought it was funny, and it was for an adult to watch. And I thought it was cool. And you know what? I really never not known, but I really didn't pay attention to those characters. And then it got me thinking, man, I need to go find those books. Doom Patrol, because I want to know more about the characters. So I think if done right, that's a smart move on HBO Max. HBO is a tried and true. It's will be there. It'll be there today and tomorrow, and it has a
giving
good
Brendan
following.
Fraser work.
Yeah.
Just to give one more point of the new head of edit or whatever, the comics or whatever, that is still going to be an official announcement in September, according to Jim Lee, or at least the company. That name will not be revealed, but there are some people that believe that that person has already been kind of forthcoming. And what has happened was that some other editors that survived the fallout actually moved into some of these roles in now there. It's not dead set that they are there, but I find it interesting that and I'm not saying that no females were fired in this laying off. I'm just saying that what the initial reports were a lot of the male names were announced, and then two other female names, prominent, very successful women, have moved up into positions in the interim as we await, I guess, who's going to take over all of that. But I guess the Band-Aid that they're using right now is Jim Lee to kind of just calm everybody down. But according to solicitations, even though they're announcing that these are the final issues that are going to be announced, I don't know if that's going to make these comics even more sought after, and they're going to all of a sudden become hits in November, and everybody's going to want to grab onto these issues. Or maybe they're anticipating a massive bloodbath because of Marvel and their big null push, and it's going to make their numbers dwindle. Because, if you don't have anything to compete against that, how are you going to answer to your quarterly, you know what I mean? The stock people and all this kind of stuff, when you can't have the same numbers in that period that Marvel's probably going to explode all over the place. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, we're going to get rid of those books. I don't know. To me, it's like a preemptive strike upon themselves, so that they can say, well, that's why we didn't survive the numbers. Like right now, Batman is their hot thing right now, but you can go buy it. Do you know what I mean? You can go out
it's still on the shelf. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's still on the shelf. I mean, have you bought Batman Who Laughs? Have you ever bought a single
one copy?
One copy.
Yeah.
What does it? That character do anything to you?
Yeah.
You know what I think is funny is that they've it's like they're all in, and it's like a multiverse. It's their multiverse Batman, and that whole universe has been expanding. What happened to regular Batman? You know what I mean? It's like you see these Batmans with all this armor, and it's that's
the
this
same
Batman.
thing can be, and I was just thinking about that.
Marvel and Spider-Man.
I was gonna say that right now.
Yeah.
Before you mentioned all that, I was like, man, you gotta be careful because you're gonna dilute your character,
but
and you may.
We used to talk about that happening before
With 2099.
They used to have DC used to have. I mean, their imprint kind of like Marvel's What If was DC's Elseworlds. And so we would see something and it'd be like, oh, that's an Elseworld one. And honestly, most of the time that would be like would Dark Knight Returns be considered an Elseworld? I don't know if that imprints on the back. Because I know like Kingdom Come and stuff like that is an Elseworld.
Right. You know what I've always saw Dark Knight? The future. But you know what I mean? Like, let's go ahead and do the future comic of the same
80s?
Batman. Huh?
We're going to do a future where Ronald Reagan's still alive?
Yeah, I don't know, man. But see, that's what I mean. But I guess it would. Well, no. I'm thinking, I don't know. Did it ever get that title of Elseworld? Because I remember when those books were coming out, like Batman by Gaslight and all these kind of stuff. Anyway, my wife commented, Roland cut his beard.
Oh,
yeah.
It's called having to look for a job, so I need to look presentable.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he went to the big hoedown at in what is it, San Patricio? Sinton. Yeah.
Sinton,
The line, dude, check it out. The line to get a application there or whatever, the job fair, went all the way from the old Walmart into the street, down the highway. People
almost to the entrance of Sinton.
people standing in line outside the freeway. Have you ever been to Sinton? You ever been over there, Will? And then you see that old Walmart that's out there. People standing in line into the street, going all the way to the entrance of the city limit line. I don't know what that. I don't know what that's a good sign that everybody wants a job there, or we have that many unemployed.
Well, they ended up opening up early. I showed up. They were supposed to open up at 9.
Yeah, they were afraid they're going to walk all the way to Gregory Portland.
I showed up at 7, and I was already waiting on the street.
And by the way, we have the Invisible Man in our show. So
yes, well, I said I'm.
Yeah, I know.
I'm looking for something.
No, it's cool. But anyway, so Batman. When it comes to Batman, none of this dark death metal speed. Did you notice that they got speed metal? That's another issue that's coming out in the future. Like they're soliciting for September, and it's a death metal.
But you see, that's what I'm talking about. You go up to the freaking shelf for DC, and you got Deceased, you got Batman Who Laughs, you got dark metal, dark Knight, you got dark. And I'm like, I just want to like, just throw everything down, like screw you, because I'm tired. It's. You only
that would be an awesome segment. Will just go in there with a camera and go DC, and just
start throwing up on everyone.
Just throw.
You only give a person 3 choices at the shelf. After 3 choices, their brain explodes. That's the way our psychology is. And I go up there and I'm like, and I understand Marvel does similar, but their character lines, their storylines, they're developed and they're concrete, and they have been they continue to be in existence, and they keep moving on. Like, I mean, think about the Spider-Verse and how that has grown over the last 20 years. Everything from Spider-Pig to Gwen Stacy and all that.
You always told me that you were not a big DC fan.
Yeah, I'm not.
You knew it was there. Okay, so when the Batman craze, you didn't really.
I didn't jump on it, man.
Okay,
I don't got time for it.
All right. To me, the darkest that I remember, but see, we have older issues of Batman. Okay, Elseworld. Look at that, Robin 3000.
And then there's also the.
We couldn't do 2099. We had to go. 2000.
This was 92.
They had to one up it, and yeah, they had to go to a nice round number. So that came out in what year?
92.
Yeah,
see, my brother alone, we could just do.
Put that in a bag.
We need to do.
Bag and board it, brother.
The bag was
only $10.99 for 100 of them.
It's like a backpack. He throws all this crap in.
Oh, dude, I have stacks of it. $10.99. I'll give you 50 boards and bags for $5 right now.
Look at that, dude. Look.
I know. I got some that I got a bunch of DC without bags because I got to put them on my Marvel.
What I was gonna say the darkest.
1978, before I was born.
The darkest I remember, for me, and it was basically.
That's cool.
But you know what? Batman has always been dark, dude. But okay, they had Detective Comics, and then Batman, and then Raven the Bold.
I like that one.
This might be something.
I'm
keep
shocked.
An eye out for this one.
I'm shocked.
Keep an eye out for this one.
I'm shocked I'm shocked. See, I'm shocked as you that he has these things.
Yeah, and no one's paying attention. I'm just watching his comics. I'm sorry.
See, that's what happened.
You give me all.
But real quickly, Batman has always kind of been dark because I remember there were some issues, and I think that's the one you were talking about the axe, and then the shrunken. Do you remember that one I had? The shrunken head or whatever it was, and an axe. He was always battling like these crazy maniacal, like crazy villains, and that was like in the 80s and in the But I guess what it all led to is when they actually killed Robin, and then they shot Barbara Gordon in The Killing Joke. To me, that opened the door to Batman is going to be, of all the marquee, like Spider-Man and all them, that he was going to be dark. He was going to be like super duper dark. Because ever since then, it's been going
It is
down.
time for Batman to be black. You're right.
Oh,
Anyway.
That's not a bad idea.
Look at this. That wasn't a bag.
I just opened it up. Thought I'd look at it.
Well, we could just, if you want to talk about diversity or anything, we could start our own comic. We could do, instead of Batman, we do La Chusa. It could be.
He's a big owl.
Oh, he's a big owl.
He just.
But what's crazy about it, like his whole head spins around 360 degrees. That's his mutant ability.
Well, it would be a female then. During day she's Lisa, but at night Lechusa.
Oh, not a bad idea.
Hey.
Quit. You're putting it out there in the ether.
That was
Stop
kind of
it.
a deep voice for Lisa there. What part of New York is this Lisa from?
Well,
Yeah.
You remember growing up, you've heard.
Anyway,
Y'all know
this show,
those are inside jokes, and I'm not privy to them, but I want to know what that's about.
la la la.
Watch out, look.
La 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 la. Go in the corner. I don't know what's going on. Anyway,
Wow.
okay, so that was some very interesting discussion right there on DC's comics. The fallout. We will update people when we find out more information. They will be announcing in September who the next head of comic, whatever DC comic imprint or whatever it is, will be coming in September. So we've been
found
hyping.
out. Did you know that Cyclops had a son and he gave him up?
Baby Nathan.
Wow.
Yes.
Dude.
And he became Cable.
I think he became
What? Spoiler
He became
alert.
Bishop.
I'm
He
trying
became
to catch
Bishop.
up.
spoilers.
I'm trying to catch up.
Spoilers.
He became Bishop.
I remember that was such a massive thing, and okay, but
That's
to
a great
stay
storyline.
on topic.
We're going to. Okay.
Last week, if you want to go ahead and show the infamous issue, Roland brought out this and said that he's
I
going
have
to
20 of those.
He's going to, well, hold on.
Terror.
And the discussion that we want to talk about is that he brought up, because we were joking around. I think there was episode 1 or 2 saying, Rob, we'll rip your comics and send them in and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff.
Look, it's Deathstroke. I mean, oh, wait.
Deadpool.
That's Deadpool, sorry.
And so the question became, is there going to be ripping of any comics in a series of this nature with this title? So Roland popped up this book and said, "Hey, let's, I'm going to throw up this one possibly of getting ripped." But I was thinking of it as a trial, so to speak. Is this a comic that is worth getting ripped? It sold quite a bit for Marvel. Marvel at the time had their X-Men imprint, they had revamped their Spider-Man line with Todd McFarlane. You had your X-Men imprint with Jim Lee, and then you had this with Rob Liefeld at the head doing X-Force. Was there something else that they launched out at that time? Do you recall, guys? There was X-Force, Spider-Man, and Jim Lee.
They got a new team for X Factor.
Okay, so they
basically got Havoc. Havoc started leading, Polaris and Strong Guy, Multiple Man, and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
He's right.
And throw it away.
What you do?
And
I will throw it away.
No.
Oh.
Okay, so this book comes up, and it's being led by probably one of the most controversial,
infamous
artists, writers. He was doing the writing as well.
Let's find out. Yes. Wait, no. Because it says Rob Liefeld, everything but words. Fabian.
Mezes. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. That's usually
Bob Harris was the editor.
Dun 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 dun. That was Bob Harris. That was the guy that just got let go. Look how long he had been there.
From DC. No.
Oh, that's right. That's right. From DC. He went from Marvel to DC, bro. Dang.
And he got let go from DC recently.
Where's he going now? Dynamite.
Never
mind.
No, they're bringing Valiant.
Yeah, he's going to go to one of these imprints. But, okay, comments. Will, this issue, do you remember when this issue came out? Did you catch it afterwards, or did you remember when it came out?
I got it on the newsstand.
You saw it on the newsstand? No bags, just wide open? Just.
I don't remember if it had a bag or not.
Did it have bag? roll?
Yes,
I think this one
opened
had
that
a
up.
bag and a trading card.
Yep.
Yes.
And they had the different trading cards. The
Well,
funny
right.
thing about this cover is there's really no wrists or feet anywhere on here.
Yeah, I don't see
I'm
no
just-
feet. There's no
Because he
feet.
can't draw them well.
He didn't draw him at all.
and,
Okay, there's
and everybody looked like a blow up doll.
okay, strike two. It's not faring well for Rob Liefeld here.
And I think this guy's standing up straight. I don't know.
Whoa, where is he? That's kind of a weird angle. What is that? Is
That's
he?
his
Yeah.
His
his
knees.
upper part.
His knees.
Somehow his that's
Well, what page does it have the page number in there for the people that can't see any of this? Don't worry, you can just open up any page in this X-Verse #1, and you'll.
It's the last page. It's the last page of that.
Other than that, what is this book known for? Just the relaunching of the New Mutants team? Is that what it is?
Well, yeah, because
They
they're
ended-
not kids anymore.
Right.
New
They ended
Mutants
with 100, the infamous 100 issue, which was came out in 3 different covers. You have, I think, 2 or 3 of those covers, Will.
Yes, I do.
New Mutants 100. It was like the blue,
The blue cover with
the
100
white,
across.
the gold numbers and the silver numbers, and
Yep.
that all those.
Because
numbers.
that was the last issue.
She's like a dog. That's like
What the hell is that?
they don't actually stand on anything when they do draw feet. They're just kind of like floating there.
Oh. I don't know what kind of leg that is. That's,
I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. I can't draw either.
I can't draw faces.
I had a webcomic, but this guy has paid a lot of money to not draw things.
You figured? Never mind. Did his ink, his tracers didn't? Did he do his own inking? He said everything but the words, right? So he did his own inking.
Yeah, because the letters is Chris Eliopoulos, which I follow on Facebook, and then there's color art. Yeah, he did the inking too. That's what it's looking like.
All right, now let's go to the opposite end. We're definitely piling on because you basically can pick up any book from Liefeld, and it doesn't have to be X-Force 1. A lot of them could become prime candidates.
Like Youngblood. I mean, okay, no, that's still X-Force. Never mind.
And so basically, you could pretty much pick up any book, and then could be at the mercy of the guillotine, so to speak. Is there anything pro? Why should we keep a book like this? Well, for the investment purposes.
Because it's Rob Liefeld. Because it's Liefeld. That's why. Rob Liefeld. He's iconic. He's iconic. I mean,
like Ed Wood.
I mean, if you want to put it like that, yeah. But I'm saying, I mean, he has a distinctive way of drawing, regardless if people like it or not. And everyone knows him, so I would hold on to books like that. I mean, they might have a cult following, so that's my opinion on it. Hey, dude, I can't draw well at all. So to me, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I remember his Levi's commercial.
And that's the closest, that's.
I wish I could put something on a shirt that I drew.
You can, Rob.
I do graphic work. I do graphic stuff, so I have seen my stuff on shirts, so that's kind of cool.
Very graphic.
You've seen your stuff on shirt. That is very graphic.
Hard shirts. Anyway, back to the. Anyway, so other than he's Rob Liefeld against all art techniques that have ever existed in art.
Well,
but anyway,
hype train. The hype train was there. He was young. He was. Okay. I mean, I guess compared to comic artists, good looking. And he had a Levi's commercial.
Okay, now let's remove Rob Liefeld from the book itself. X-Force as a team, X-Force as that #1 in the history from the cross between New Mutants and going into this new team. It does usher in Domino and a bunch of other characters and Deadpool and all that kind of stuff. Does this book does it hold historical value context that it solidifies itself in the history of comic book world. Would it go in the portfolio? Will, would you put it in the, if you had 10 things to put in a portfolio, would X-Force #1 go in that portfolio?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, not in the investment portfolio, but in the portfolio for having something historical. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Liefeld is credited for Deadpool, right? That's his greatest contribution. That's his greatest contribution.
Wasn't he also Cable?
Yeah.
So why are we ragging on Liefeld?
No. Okay.
No, I'm not. To me, the Deadpool people. No. To me, the Deadpool people isn't the one that Liefeld created. Because if we're looking at that, that's okay. It's Deathstroke. I mean, Wade Wilson and Slade. I mean, he acknowledged that he pretty much ripped it off.
He ripped off, Deadpool. Yeah.
And so when you have that, and then later, people like Deadpool's, because I remember reading Deadpool and X-Force because I was reading all the X books, and he was just, I don't know. He was just along with everybody else, and then later, slowly, it started taking on, where he started breaking the fourth wall and, chimichangas, all this other crazy stuff. It started, it started changing who he was. So the Deadpool people like now wasn't what I remember reading in X-Force.
I mean, to me,
somebody's credited for that. The switch in Deadpool to what he is now, and that Merc with the mouth and all that kind of stuff. That eventually took place a little bit later on. That wasn't Liefeld. That was actually, was that a comedian that was writing the book? There have been comedians that actually have written for that book. They weren't the artists, but they were actually writing for that book. And I don't know if that's when it started happening, but what we know of Deadpool now and what we see on the films is directly related to all those changes that were happening. I can't pinpoint exactly when that was in the
because I know when they first, like when he was in the Liefeld X-Forces, it was that his healing factor was keeping him alive, but it wouldn't fully heal him. So it was like balancing out. And then it wasn't until later that all of a sudden they were like, oh, well, because of that, he's gone crazy. And so then all of a sudden he became Daffy Duck, or the what is it in Warner Brothers, the Dodo? That the Dodo. That's who he became. And and that's Deadpool now. That's when he fell in love with Spider-Man. That's the Deadpool people like. That's who Ryan Reynolds is. So we'll take Wolverine Origins. That Ryan Reynolds is Liefeld's Deadpool. And then Ryan Reynolds' own Deadpool is the one that we all like now. That's how I you can break it up because, again, I read these. So it's not like, I read these. I got it because I was an X fan. So I wanted to know what was going on. And see, that's the thing, though. You said, let's take Liefeld out of this. Well, yeah, he came up with Deadpool and stuff like that. So if you take out his artwork, because even then it was, again, a title that I collected because it was an X title. The moment they put that X on there during this time, that was the cash cow. What about Domino? Who created Domino? That's what I'm saying. It was all It was Liefeld. Yeah. He created some really well-known characters.
Well,
during that era of book that he holds, he created not mainstream character, but he created characters that would soon take a prominent role in the Marvel universe. And regardless of the personality changes, the shell was there and created by Liefeld. And if he hadn't done that, we wouldn't have Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, but see, we talk about that. It's like, oh, Liefeld, but like when we talk about Gambit, everybody just talks about Gambit. They don't talk about Claremont and Jim Lee making Gambit. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't, did Liefeld really create that shell if he took that shell from somewhere else? I mean, what was it that you were saying?
I think something about it was from Star Wars, either 16 or 17 or 14, 14, 15, or 16, there was a character in Star Wars and then they're called let me find it real quick. It was Star Wars. It was called The Hunter. So I'm gonna type that real quick. Star Wars. You're gonna freak out, Will, when you see this. 14.
Get your freak out face ready.
Yeah, the freak out.
So you can do the.
I'm approaching my 10-minute mark.
Yeah, I saw that. His agent. Okay. Okay. Let me get this. I'm gonna pop this screen, and let me get one more screen for you, because I think they're resurrecting Hunter also. Oh man, there's another picture. Well, either way, I'm just gonna go ahead and show this one. So, all right, let me share my screen. All right, everybody, we will, since you guys are out there in the internet universe. All right. Yeah. Star Wars number 16. Half his body was replaced by cybernetic parts. So, I don't know. Were these guys wanting to go into the X-Men universe? Is that what's happening here in Star Wars? Anybody? See, he's over here. He's got regular skin. What we're seeing here, guys, it's called, I don't know. He was a hunter of some kind. It was, I guess, from what it looks like, next issue, The Empire Strikes. So I'm assuming this was like the cameo appearance in Star Wars 16, and basically it was while in the craft, there's a guy sitting there. He has a glove on one hand, and then he has like skin on the other. But I guess he reaches up to his face, and then when he does that, the face crumbles, and basically it reveals that half of his body was replaced by cybernetic parts.
Hey, you just found this is gonna. Yeah. This is a spoiler for Mandalorian. Because you read at the bottom, yeah. And a terrible secret it is for a robot hater, living with the fact that. At the Telos 4 medical station. See? There you go.
Because I remember when I mentioned Hunter, you had mentioned something of that nature. But he's got the little sparkly eye, and, you know.
So that's a confirmed spoiler, or you're making that confirmation?
Oh, I'm making that's a guess.
Oh, it's a guess.
I mean, he hates droids so much and stuff. What
droid would he be going after? What droid would he be going after?
Well, see, I don't know, because they changed it up at the end. Well, because he trusted what's his face, the nanny.
Right.
So this is this character right here. He's been in the Star Wars thing. That's another picture of him. He's got even the white on the sides of his hair. The Hunter. Here he is on the cover. He's got the big guns, the eye thing, whatever. He's half machine. There's his Star Wars.
Actually, you can pull up Ahab, and it looks like Ahab.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, it's everybody. Was on the same bandwagon. Everybody wanted a cybernetic half dude. Terminator was hot.
That's what I thought.
Terminator was hot.
That's what I thought it was.
Right. I'll give it that. And then, but it's very coincidental and all that kind of stuff. So
that's a $10 book all day long, right now.
Yeah, just for the parallels and just being a Star Wars book. You know what? It could even, because it's a lower number book, it actually could be worth more. So what we'll do is what?
I have some Star Wars books where there we go again.
There goes the Force is strong with this one. I was gonna say for show purposes, I'm gonna give a stay of execution. I think the jury is still out on X-Force 1. we should take votes on that and see what people think on that. If you want to show your books in a minute, or go ahead and show them now. But I'm gonna call up our fourth segment of the show as we're nearing the end here is my must picks for coming up August 19th, 2020. Will, did you have a chance to see what was coming out next week, or what is a must pick for this coming up week for you?
Well, on the Marvel side, pick up Maestro. I believe Maestro is coming out, and I think there's like two or three different covers. Is that correct?
For Maestro, there's quite a bit of covers. Let me take a look. I'm gonna pick one for you, and that way I'll call it up on my screen, and that way we can kind of show, and then you can. I don't know, but for sake of argument, I do not know what are going to be regular covers and what are incentive covers. But what this is a copy of a very iconic Hulk cover, and it's Maestro with the word Maestro, like almost the Atlas kind of holding the world type on his back. I don't know if this is the one, but I would say all of the covers look pretty dang awesome for this particular series. So Will recommends picking up Maestro. Is there anything else on your radar that you think is a must pick for this coming up week?
There's also a book that I have not read. It's called Chew, C-H-U, Chew. It's by Image Comics. They're doing a second printing of their #1. So just to put that in your Trapper Keeper, I definitely would pick up that one if you can find it. What else? Let me see.
While you figure out that next one, Chew, it's has all this very neon lime greeny kind of look with the girl with looks like either a cigarette or a drink in one hand, a cigarette probably in one, and then a gun.
Yeah, she's like a
lighter
psycho.
gun. It's a lighter gun, right? Okay.
She's like a psycho. I think she could see the future.
Okay.
And has something to do with fried chicken. or
Are
chicken
these
itself.
Zombies? Is this what it is? Like a zombie type apocalyptic?
Like I said, I haven't read it, but
okay. But it's on your radar.
It's on my radar to definitely look. I'm trying to expand my horizons, Rob.
True.
I've been in the Marvel universe and I enjoy it, but I have to go out of my norm to start experiencing.
Never mind. We're gonna go to the Blue Clam and explore those horizons.
Blue Oyster Bar.
That too.
So definitely those books. I mean, for right now, those two I definitely would look at. I'm trying to see if there's anything else coming out in the horizon. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. I get it for my daughter.
Well, I do know that because I know that you collect this. I thought isn't it a Terminator? One of the Terminator.
There is the Transformers versus Terminator, and I do have that on pre-order. Thanks for reminding.
Yeah. Which cover?
Well, I think I'm just getting the regular cover A for right now. I don't know if there's a.
Have you seen
I don't know how many.
brother?
Well, I haven't seen the variant.
There it is.
Oh, that's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, that's a variant though. It's cover B.
So that's the one I'm.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm. Okay, that's the one I'm picking.
Transformers, the Terminator. That's No, that look honestly. When you told me about it, I kind of knew what was happening. Cover A looks like it's actually a moving scene, like from like an action scene or something like that from the thing. No,
I'm seeing that.
Very hot book. Transformers have been jumping through different universes and stuff and making their mark known through the comic world for sure.
Right. So that is issue number. That is
Three.
issue number
3
3,
of 4.
And then issue number 4. They already have a picture. It comes out on September 16th. Issue number 4, cover A, has like Megatron in the background, and it has I want to see O'Connor and the Terminator in the front.
Cool.
That's number 4, and that's cover A.
So those are 3. Make sure run out, go to your comic shops on August 19th. You want to be there or be square or try to secure them right now. Hey, you know what? Go online, secure your books. Also, I want to let people know. I'm going to show you my 3. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and show my 3 first.
Don't.
I'll show you. Okay. So I'm going with tried and true. I'm going with this one. I know that, it's nothing, okay, whatever. But this is actually, we've been waiting to see what's going to happen, because the last we left off with Thor. No, you know what? I'm not even going to spoil it. We were left at a very critical juncture. Now, if you haven't seen a single cover, you've already been spoiled to what he's facing right now. But it's all going to come down to this. There you go. Leave it to Will. Anyway, Black Winter. That's all I got to say. The shit's going to happen in this book. And it's going to happen so much that what's going to happen is, come on, where am I? Where am I?
Black Winter's coming.
Gonna kick your ass.
Is it like
Black
Samuel
Winter's
Jackson?
gonna kick your ass.
I'm Black Winter, mother.
Say my name. We're actually leading up to this. Oh, what is it? It's called Thor Classified. They're not going to show it because it's a spoiler cover. It's a spoiler cover.
It's going to be a scan.
Yep,
that's it. It is going to be a scan, right? Okay.
Yeah. So double hotness happening there. So we have that going on.
That's my nickname, by the way. So.
Number two pick. I want to go with a second print. I'm going to go with second print of number 26, Virus. Virus is another character that was just recently launched. People are still trying to figure out who Virus is. And
what's the deal with the bandages, Rob? What's the deal with the bandages? Like,
yeah, I noticed that. Is it a hint? Is it a hint of something?
A hint at what?
Well, I don't know, because still nobody knows. Even though he's launching pumpkins, he's dressed like Iron Man. He's got
he comes from the universe where Eddie Brock went.
Well, yeah, regular Eddie Brock universe.
Right. This is the guy. This guy is an experiment from that other universe, and he's pissed off.
But the thing is, the maker doesn't
settle
no. A spoiler alert on 27. They don't know who the hell this dude is.
Yeah, well, they don't, but we do. This guy is one of the first. He's the first one they experimented on, right?
And Maker that's doesn't even know this guy.
They have, of course, he does it because he left him for dead.
The guy in the suit knows who he is, but not vice versa. But
when did Snake Eyes change colors and stuff?
So
this guy, he's a mashup.
Venom 26 second printing. Virus is again on the cover, on the glider, the Green Goblin, Hobgoblin thing, shooting pumpkins and firing shit like Iron Man. It's like he's everything.
Right. So I'm telling you right now, this is my theory, and you can hold me to it. This guy is a mashup from another universe, an experiment gone wrong, left for dead, who has come back for vengeance. He will ultimately be a good guy.
The Iron Goblin.
Hey,
there you go. You
never know.
They just know him as Virus. But
there's Omega Red and Wolverine.
Okay. Several things I like about this. Wolverine 4. I'm hoping that this isn't one of those ones that are not available. And it does look like, but dude, the artwork looks very much like somebody that we know. What do you think?
Personally?
Well, do it look like anybody in particular, art-wise? I know it's in the vein of, it's like a little bit in the vein of Kirkham and Lee, doesn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
But the underwater treatment that he's getting is very reminiscent of a
female.
Yeah, but hold on. Is this a flashback story?
No, it's a new story.
Does he wear his black and tans again, or is it not black and tans? The tan and yellow.
I think he went back to that, right, Will? Because you have Wolverine behind you, whatever that was. That.
Yes. The John Tyler Christopher one.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That's the same color.
He was what was at the end of X-Men 3?
This is Adam Kubert.
Kubert.
There you go. Y'all want to preview?
Oh, I gotta read Chew. I'm sorry, I gotta read Chew. I just read the synopsis and I like it. I'm sorry, I'm a Chew fan now.
He's a Chew fan. His artwork looks pretty good. You know what? they tease you with this black and white. Is it black and white? Because if it's black and white, man, it would be killer if it was released in black and white.
I think it is going to be released in black and white.
Dun 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 dun. But that is Wolverine number 4. To me, I'm going with Marvel. It's a Marvel sweep. I think
just the cover art was Kubert.
Okay. But that's what it's looking like for me, guys.
Cool.
I'm picking those 3. I think I'm gonna put those on the page. I'm gonna get Will's 3 picks there. I'm gonna put my 3 picks, and we're gonna have them going. And those are the hot picks for the week. Right. Roland, do you have
that pick? Is this one?
Okay. Okay, we're gonna let Roland,
1984.
Roland is gonna show us
1984.
Give us 3 because I think this would be a good ender segment. He's dipping into the archives and he's gonna show us 3 books of his that he thinks are. I mean, they're all kind of cool, but he's just gonna show you 3 of his archive digs that he has. So as we close the show.
Well, I've been kind of showing them throughout the
thing, but the black show that Flash one. Isn't the black pretty vibrant in that for being a black issue? Look at that. You don't get that kind of color breakdown like that on that. Look at that. Is that a regular comic
9.0?
Book? That's a regular comic book. Yeah.
It's about a 9. I grade it.
Oh yeah.
White pages.
When I'm 83.
Yeah, 83.
Dude.
With the Tron video game.
Hey, we had that. We had what is it? Mattel Networks.
Tron Deadly Disc and Adventures of Tron.
Yep, we had those. That was a good Christmas that time. That was the strange Christmas.
As opposed to the other Christmases.
Because nothing. That was the unmasked version of Christmas. It was like the Kiss album. Nothing was masked. You know what? I wonder if we were on the verge of a divorce, and that's why. Never mind. I'm not going there. Anyway.
We're always on the verge of divorce.
Oh shit!
I always find these things out later.
We took a dark turn really fast. Oh, comments. I thought Matthew Broderick was Deadpool, or no, he thought he wrote Deadpool. Yeah, those are cool. You have a couple of those still, right, Will?
Oh, I got plenty of them.
The holograms.
And I showed you the last one where
I still got them in the bag.
Richard says, doesn't Iron Fist have bandages or Darkman?
Darkman?
Yeah. So
it's
now he's
bandaged.
Throwing another bandaged character into the mix. Yeah, that's kind of weird that he has bandages. You're right. I never really noticed that one.
Oh, that's the first thing I noticed when I saw it. I was like, he has bandages.
When I look in your wall back there, I can't keep my eyes off of that one right there. That's Star Wars.
What's this one?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Hey, you have Ultimate. Why don't you show that real quick, Will? Very iconic issue right here. Check it out. Miles Morales. And then you have the one where he's taking the mask off.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Right
here. Good combo. Mask and no mask.
Second printing, first printing.
Very cool.
Yeah, that one you should have in your collection now. You wait too long.
Yep. I don't see a 252 on your thing. It's coming, right? It's in the works. It's in the works.
Do I have a 252, Bill, or just I do our only Secret Wars? I think. I know at the time.
I think you know what? In spirit, you have it because it's over here.
That's right. I'll get it from you.
Yes.
I'll trade you. I'll trade you one of my Spider-Mans for it.
Oh wow! He's already getting rid of Miles Morales. Check that out.
You want to trade the Secret Wars?
You don't want to wait till the symbiote Spider-Man comes out?
I got 3 of those Secret Wars.
Oh, it's not a secret anymore. No more.
I think 2, maybe 2. Anyway, I'm gonna have to walk away. I gotta go to work. Somebody got to pay for this stuff I have here.
No, I remember that.
Velma is tired for paying for it. Tired of paying for it.
Well, that's pretty much we did the episode.
Oh, but yeah, we did the episode. But I must say, pick up Bad Mother, pick up Miles to Go.
Dumpster binning type, like to hunt for. People gotta hunt for that. Hey, dude, what about that Dracula one? Dracula, mother effer.
Oh yeah, that one's
The
cool.
artwork looks pretty retro. I
You
really
you
digging
gotta
that one.
pick it up. You gotta pre-order that with someone.
Yeah, it's got to be
It
pre-order.
hasn't come out yet, has it?
I don't think so. My
No,
wife
it
actually
hasn't.
said earlier she really likes the sound of that speed metal. So I'm gonna have to go hunt down the speed metal. Well, no, that's in pre-order right now, so I think I could find one.
And by the way, Chew, this first issue of Chew has is a she's a she Tony Chew is a Cebopath, able to get psychic impressions from what he eats. Saffron Chew is Cybopars, able to learn secrets from who she eats with. And Tony is a cop, and Saffron is a criminal. They're a brother sister, and they're on a collision course, spinning out of the multiple. Okay, so that's what it is. So you have the brother sister, the brother psychic impressions from what he eats, and Saffron Chew from who she eats with.
Cool.
Interesting, right?
Very interesting. Yeah, yeah.
And that's why they call
Play
it
on the
Chew
word. Yeah, play on the word chew.
and Saffron. So,
Very cool.
all right,
No,
all right.
it's all good.
I got.
Was it casual Saturday or what? Hawaiian Saturday at the shop or what? What's going on there?
Exactly what it is. Oh,
I'm going bowling. Fuck y'all.
no.
Okay.
It's Saturday, man.
Okay.
Gotta feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All
So
right.
anyhow.
No, thank you for coming on again, and we will be looking for those. I'm going to try to get this. I still need to get the last week's episode, and this week's episode will go on online. And what the hell is that, dude? And then we will make sure that we. I'll put those pics. I'll put your pics and my pics up either through photos or mini video, but more than likely I'll put it up so that way people can see those pics, and that'll become a regular thing that I put on the page.
Good job, Ron.
Oh, thank you very much, Will. I'm going to have Roland show maybe about two, 3 more archived books, and then we'll wrap. But thank you for joining us, Will. And
welcome.
All right, man.
I gotta go.
All right, later, Will.
Bye.
Not that dramatic of it.
He's gonna take the lamp. I'll take this and this chair.
This paddle ball game.
And this
thermos.
That's
no,
all,
he traded it for the thermos.
And that's all he needs. And that's all I need. Just that and this. That's all. Well, show me another two. You've been sneak peeking these throughout the show, the beginning of the show, and all that. What is?
We got number 2.
Oh yeah, classic right there. Classic for me and you. No one cares about.
Yeah,
that.
no one ever cares.
No one cared when it came out, and it's.
But you think about it now, comics. It's like somehow now comics died and turned into like IDW and all this other stuff.
And Image and.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, it ended up back on.
But I mean,
Wild Storm.
Look at this artwork, though. I mean, you would wonder why it wasn't,
You know, it was ahead of its time.
Real ahead of its time.
Well, I mean, think about it. They were like there was another company that they were pairing up with that did the Ninja. Wasn't it? It wasn't Now that did Ninja, whatever that Ninja School or whatever that was. Because they did a crossover. It was Speed Racer had a little sneak peek in there, and then Speed Racer had his own book. And I don't know if they did the crossover, but I know his character.
Now shows that at that time they had issues called Rust, Siphons, Die Kamikaze, Rolf Snart, and they were redoing Astro Boy too. So they picked up some.
This is going to sound weird, but I was looking up. It's like rare and low number print books. There's a copy of Rust that actually had an ad or a part of, I think it was Spawn, and that's what makes that particular. Yeah, there's an issue of Rust that actually makes that a very sought after issue. It's not really an issue, it's more of an ad, but just because it appeared in the ad and it was an early appearance of Spawn or something of that nature, the book ends up becoming more. Check this out. Marvel, is it Marvel Age? where they would like preview like, hey, here's this character and that. Did you ever see the issue where they were previewing the black closed version of Spider-Man? Did you know the color of his imprint of the spider, what it was going to be?
Red?
Yep. Looks like your favorite new character.
Spider-Man 2099?
Yeah, that one too.
Mr. Sinister. Mr.
Yeah,
Sinister.
there you go. There you go. Let me see. I'm getting some texts. This could be comic book related.
Yeah.
No.
Well, there was also this comic. Nope.
Nope, that wasn't a comic book. Yeah, you had mentioned those. Those are very interesting. The Red Star. And who released those? It was Image?
Image. Yeah, Image. It's just weird because like it was just very. It says Image Comics and Project Antares present the Red Star, and I mean a lot of it was like just imagery.
Right.
Very, very few. Like automatically. Just she lit a cigarette with her hand.
What made you want to? Is it because you were in the military? You thought this would be kind of cool, or what? How did this get on your radar? Because don't get me wrong, I actually have a series of books that I collected called Rasputin, and I love all the Russian. Well, you obviously know I like the Russian imagery and stuff like that. Not necessarily that, but that propaganda artwork style and all that kind of stuff. What they consider the propaganda style and all that. I like a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, I was going to the comic book stores. It was 2000, so I was still going to the one in California. And like Jess and I would go, and I don't know. I was trying to see, what else was out there. I mean, and it was Image, so I was like, well, let me try this out. So I got issue 1. So of course I have issues 1 through 7.5, and I think I was able to collect that over. And I'm talking about because out of nowhere, I think later on because the Red Star Transformation 7.5 came out in. This is December 2001. That's what the date in there says. Red Star number 1.
It was same cover artist and the inside, or was it just different cover artists and then the artwork in the inside? It looks very similar. That's why I'm asking, and it's very a certain style to it. I'm just who's doing this book? It's a very artsy book, dude. It's not. That's what I always liked about Image. When Image goes on, and they do their own thing, and they let the artists, kind of let go. They're out of the. Usually, sometimes these are guys that work under the industry, under different companies, and then Image allows them to imprint their own book and stuff like that. This is a very,
So I'm going to tell you this in the back.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't done by like regular Image. This was done by this group called Team Red Star, because if you look at the credits right in the back of number 1, the only thing it says for Image Comics is the director of production, the publisher Jim Valentino, and director of marketing. All these other people were A.D. Coulter was environmental engineer, scene breakdown, 3D modeling, production design. So this was a very
they were doing it like if it was the guise of a communist kind of team or something like that, because I'm noticing in 99 to 2004 and then in 2006, and then they have a dash, meaning I don't know if they're still creating this, but I'm assuming they had a team, and it's Team Red Star 99 to 2004, and then they have Team Red Star 2006 to whatever. We had Alan Coulter, John Mobley, 3D, and then co-writer Bradley Cale, and then Cayley. And then you have Christian Gossett.
Okay. So, and on here, it says, when I'm looking for the date, because this one's just, June 2000. So it took from June 2000 in printing in there to December 2001 to get to 7.5. But it says in here, Red Star, And all related characters are trademarked and copywritten by Christian Gossett 2000. So again, this is like Image helped out. That's why it was very different. It felt very different. You know, I mean, I don't know. It was the imagery. I think the look of it is what got me. I mean, you know, I mean, then you have like a cover like this. Then number 4.
Yeah.
Number 5 is something I think you would like because.
Oh, nice.
It's very, very comrade. But in the back, you see that picture?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you would get the
book itself,
the back. Oh, I'm wrong way. So like that. Sorry, I was going backwards. And you get the other 1 and 2. That would go together in the back and create that image that I just showed you. So it was very, very different than what, you know, Image was doing at the time. And something about the cover art, like I said, it just, and I picked it up and I was like, this seems like an interesting, you know, Jess and I was trying to get my wife, Jessica, into comics. And so I tried to find stuff that maybe she would, you know, like visually like or, you know, story-wise.
right.
So that was one that we would get just because, again, visually, I mean, she liked it. We really didn't understand the story. I remember actually, like I said, it took over a year for 7 issues to come out, or 8. And I remember we were at the store and she happened to just look over and go, wait, that's Red Star.
Another issue, like, yeah.
I didn't know that was coming out still. But I had also gotten her into a mini series called Magdalena, which it was like the Bloodline.
Oh.
You know, and it reminded me of this story about the cloned Jesus. But anyway,
who would dare do something like that?
Blasphemous!
Blasphemy.
That's a whole blasphemous episode. It should be called Ripped Blasphemous, and we just talk about the story idea we had.
Oh,
but
my goodness.
Other than that, I think just to do like from last time, just to kind of finish up. This is a comic scene from 1995.
This is a unofficial segment, but I think it would be an awesome segment. We're gonna call this flashback, heart attack. Every time I see your face, never mind. It's just a flashback. Let's take a look in the back of comic scene, and we're gonna just gander at a few of these. Roland's gonna pick out a couple and talk about these. Could they? Would have, should have, could have productions that maybe some did happen, some didn't happen, and some, how the hell did they even enter the pages of a comic scene in the back? So mention a couple of these.
To go with what we were already showing, 1995 Speed Racer film. Script, J.J. Abrams.
Wow.
Warner Brothers, summer 1996. And that, I'm looking at the little legend. Yep, the script is S, and that's what they were talking about.
I did not know he was attached to this. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Live action and animated projects, The Spirit. And it says the producer, where is it? Producer, and from Miramax, Uzlan, producers M. Uzlan and B. Melniker. The Rocky Horror Show animated series. Don't think that came out. Nelvana was supposed to do that. You have the Gen 13 animated film, which did come out.
What are your impressions of that? You know, we guys should actually have our panel watch that, and then we critique that.
It was just like all the other cartoons in the 90s. That was at this time they also had Savage Dragon animated series, which if you have the Peacock app, you can actually watch the 2 seasons, I believe, on
nice.
that app. Yeah.
Very cool.
And
Thanks to Jim Lee there.
And
what about
HBO,
Wildcats?
That's what I'm getting to that, man. HBO had Spawn. And MTV wasn't MTV that had the Max?
Yeah.
And then yes, Wildcats was also an animated series, which
Where do you watch that? Where's that one at?
I think I saw it on YouTube. I mean, I saw it when it came out because I mean they had a season of it. Still, Plastic Man, which if you recall, ever since Batman came out in '89, they've always talked about a Plastic Man.
Yeah.
Which, how many people remember the Plastic Man TV show? Where the live action and then they would show the cartoon.
Okay, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. He would have these little things and
his attire and stuff.
I liked Plastic Man cartoon animated thing. I think the numbers were good enough that they kept it in the works or the development for a long time. But if he didn't sound like that, I mean, baby place. Never mind.
So we also have Luke Cage, director and producer John Singleton, script John Doherty, and producer Ed Pressman.
All right. Thank God that didn't get made. Somebody would have been dead.
Madman. Film producer Ben Myron, David Halpern.
We're talking about Madman, Mike Allred.
Mike Allred, yes. Robert
yeah.
Stein. The script was being written by Allred, it says.
I think for a while there, later on, Robert Rodriguez gets attached to that project. I think they tried to do that. I want to say that that's still something that he wants to do.
And then I'll do 3 more. So 2 of them that'll take up was Doom's 4 film, production and script by Rob Liefeld.
That's like a can of Vienna sausages.
And Prophet, TriStar, Rob Liefeld. So that was 2 things that, and also I don't know if this ever came out. Prime, script John Turman.
For some reason, that sounds like something that might have got produced.
Well, it's funny because this picture right here.
What's Spider-Man
underneath? Okay, it says Prime is headed towards the screen, while Spider-Man copes with legal entanglements. I don't know if they're ever going to get out of that.
Man, I wish we could see a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, and not have any legal entanglements. Kind of like Jada Smith. And we're in August. Like August was in. Okay.
Anywho.
There's a Catwoman film, script by Dan Waters.
We did eventually see one of a Catwoman film.
Yeah. And The Sandman, script by Ted Elliott, Terry Rossio,
That's always been in discussion. I think the more recent has been talk about possibly a series. I don't know if it's Netflix or Prime or one of those is, I think, on the fast track to really produce one of those for sure.
And back in '95, the last one. Oh no, okay, 2. V for Vendetta back in '95.
Which eventually, eventually the Wachowskis got involved in that one. And that was actually it wasn't like Matrix like blockbuster, but it actually did. I thought it did well, didn't it? Comic book fans liked it. Had a good cast.
I liked it. And then Venom. This says Venom film.
Just Venom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it need any more? Yes, just another 30 years. And then we're still waiting for Venom 2.
Venom Spider-Man Separation Anxiety video game now on Windows 95.
Oh man, I can't wait for that one. Look at that
Man,
artwork.
look at that. Look at that.
Oh,
Woo!
Scream. She's really hot right now. Did you know that? That character had a resurgence. They had a whole absolute carnage explosion, and that comic book and all that. Oh yeah, spawned the
Video game on Super Nintendo.
Yep. See, the thing is that a lot of these comics had their time in all the video game. They made, even no matter if it was just made off of another game. What is that, like Rygar? It's the engine of Rygar. They just put it right on top of that. Guaranteed to destroy your TV. That's But yeah, no, that's the beauty of they can do so much with a video game, and then we got Spider-Man that actually had all those things that you would see in video games, and he became the Spider-Man that, I would say that movie, Batman kind of like cracked the door open, but I think it wasn't until Spider-Man, that first Tobey Maguire one, that I think it just literally basically said, that's it. All superhero movies are going to be made from this point on. And I feel bad because then you start lumping all these other superhero movies that were made prior. It wasn't the right time. Well,
see, if it wasn't for Blade, X-Men wouldn't have been made.
Mm-hmm.
Because people, when I talk to people about Blade, and they're like, "What about it?" I'm like, "It was a comic book movie," and they just.
I guess it was a darker comic.
And if he didn't look like the comic, he should have had afro and bell bottoms and
right.
But it's there again. Howard the Duck. I loved it. Spider-Man, X-Men and Spider-Man wouldn't have been made if not for Blade, because they kind of went out on a, I don't know how to put it, limb.
Right.
Let's test out the water with not that, well known to the mass media. And once they saw, oh wow, people do like this super action stuff, which then all of a sudden, I remember when X-Men came out and Spider-Man, oh my gosh, that was again. Okay.
I think being a vampire film, I don't think there were a lot of effects in there that couldn't have been done. Let's just say if it wasn't Blade.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It had like the vampire vibe. It had the bounty hunter type thing and an action film and stuff like that. They weren't doing anything that hadn't been done prior. It was like when Spider-Man made his, when we were seeing him fly through the city and stuff like that, you knew that you could get those realistic effects in the Spider-Man film. Then like Batman, there's nothing really out of the ordinary. He's just a regular guy in an action film, but he's wearing a suit. And Michael Keaton versions, but I'm just saying it can be done with the right budget,
But even with Blade, it was the disintegration of the vampires.
Right.
Like they would stab them, it was like,
right.
I don't know.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is that you eventually you're going to see that. But what I'm talking about, like showing superpowers. Yeah.
The interview with the vampire paved the way for Blade.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But I guess I don't know, certain things, but we could talk and debate about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there's milestone movies, I guess, that were like leaps and bounds. And then, you get to films like The Crow that, hey, independent comics are established in a various way. And then you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it still took quite a while for Marvel to really like get a stranglehold. Because even when Spider-Man came out and then Spider-Man left, they still hadn't launched their MCU. It still took them some time to get their ducks in a row.
But that was Sony that did. So it's funny that we were talking about special effects and you brought up The Crow. And it turns out the greatest special effects they had was to still have their dead actor on screen.
Wow.
Like not even the special effects in the movie for like his powers. But
right. The best special effects were actually just to make a film come off the ground was better than the effects that they had in the actual film. Yeah, that's That's
And see,
sad.
we've watched it so many times, and we watch so many things that we know all the spots that it's not Brandon, and to talk about to people they didn't even know today. Like somebody watched it, I'm like, oh yeah, this part where he's like, oh, that was taken from this part, and the cracked mirror, and when he's standing there with that's not even him, and that's
Right.
the face, and they're just like, I thought that was him. I'm like, yeah, no, that wasn't even.
Yeah.
By today's standards, that was horrible editing. Still, but that's what they had back then.
Yeah. And the funny thing is they actually made more of that footage than actually just retaining Brandon Lee footage. So
Mm-hmm.
you end up having this, well, how much of the film is Brandon Lee, then reshot with another actor with Brandon Lee's face on it. And then, just to, but that's the hard part when they're wanting to rewrite the story. They basically had to take Skull Cowboy out and all this. So when you're removing that, because if you watch the Blu-ray and all the special the cutout scenes, the whole when they're in the car, when they're in that whole showdown, there's he's on the top of the car and he's.
I was gonna say, yeah, they had that city chase.
The other guy's in the thing. He gets shot by some kids and he comes limping out, and it's a whole different thing. The scenes were written different. I've even posed this question. I know that this movie has a lot of reverence. It holds a lot of reverence to myself. And I don't want to get too deep into that because I think it would be a great discussion of just comic to movies. And
yeah,
that would be a whole series of, hey, let's take a look at the comic and let's take a look how it did. So let's just put a pin in this, but I just want to just for sake of what we're talking about. It was the what they were ending up doing in that movie, trying to get it as close to the comic book as possible. I don't know if that movie would have worked
if it was more closer to the comic.
If he lived. I don't know if that movie would have the same, because that's
an art house. It'd be an art house flick.
It would be one of these
art house
right.
Flick.
Yeah, it
would. We would.
It
would. We would be the few that would be preaching about it on the rooftops, but it would end up being now, like 20 years later, 20 something years later, now is when they would be like, oh, this missed gem of the Crow, but it pushed it up higher because of his death.
Yeah,
thanks to you and Mom.
It's unfortunately it put it in a different orbit, a mainstream. People that didn't know who the Crow, to this day, you mentioned the Crow, they don't even know it's a comic book. Issues are still being made right now with different
and that was a surprise to me.
Yeah, and the thing is that but I don't know. I don't know what he would have done with that, James O'Barr.
You need to find a back issue of Comic Scene, because as I was looking, Comic Scene number 37 not only has an interview with Chris Claremont, but with Brandon Lee.
What movie would have interviewed him for? What year was that? Does it say the year?
95. This is 95.
95.
So it says interviews Chris Claremont and Brandon Lee.
Interesting. Well,
no, you know what? That was 94, because if this is January and it says number 54, maybe it was before that. That might have been before that. I don't even know the years.
That's what I was thinking. I was trying to think what it would have been to. I don't know. You know what? We will be on the quest for that. We did find out about Chris Ambrose. He had asked, hey, what Batman? We did find the credit cards, but the jury is still out which Batman book that was part of. The thing is that just to bring that up, I did have two. One of them is the one we actually showed on the screen, which had the Joker laughing on the top, and then
I remember that one.
He's kind of watching. The other one is probably the one he's talking about. It's just Batman standing there, and it's a newsstand version. It wasn't the Prestige, but it has the banner going across that says Batman, like on a marquee, and it says comic book adaptation. I'm willing to bet it was that one, but special editions or something like that, or for promotional purposes, they actually put that credit card on there. That's what I think it was. But But
So
what we'll do, we're going to explore whatever this comic scene. Maybe we'll
number
have
37.
maybe
37.
you know what? Maybe we'll talk about. Let me see what's going on. Maybe we will talk about the Crow next issue, and that'll give us a chance to revisit the Crow. And do we dare visit the offspring of that movie, which were
That never happened after the Crow won.
I blanked out every movie afterwards. They had a box set of this. There was a box set released of these movies.
Of one movie? How are you gonna do a box set of one movie?
Oh man!
And then you can talk about that wonderful fanzine that was around Corpus Christi when the Crow came out.
The infamous fanzine.
People are taking like. Anyway, okay.
I've always wondered who has a copy of that or how many people left them behind.
Do you remember?
We would go up and down the aisles and picking them all up and putting them back on the stack.
No, I'm talking about the stack when people were like grabbing like 10 of them, and you know, some other person, MR, was all, "Hey, put that back."
Hey, don't you think it's strange that we just basically took over those screenings that evening? It was like our theater. This is our film. It was like,
we're by the tickets. You can take one. I mean, not only did you have people from Del Mar writing, we also had people from Gregory Portland High School journalism department, because Shane Heckathorn wrote for it, and I wrote. Man, it was. We had people that were fans. Anyway, well, that's a whole other...
There's so much we could talk about this. This gives a chance for Will to revisit The Crow, which it is available, I believe, streaming. I don't know if it's Netflix.
I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah, it should be on Netflix.
And we'll dress up as our favorites. So you can be Darla. I'll be.
They make you fart big time.
No, I said Darla.
That's the other one.
Yeah, the mom.
It's a big.
Do some eggs.
It's a look at that big bird over there. Anyway, we're gonna recreate some of our best favorite scenes.
And we should have it on location, you and I, and we'll throw knives at each other and see if we can stop them. Remember we did the throw knives?
Or we could do the bullets. Just which one of you,
Motor City? Anyway,
no, it's and then, and the thing is they had the every horror actor, B-movie dude, or whatever you wanted was in that film. We can go on, and it's going to get to whatever, but just for the fact that
hour, we need to stop.
Yeah. I mean, but that is a good place to leave off on. You know what? I'm probably going to end up cutting this whole back part to save it. But I want to thank everybody again for another edition of the Rip Comics podcast. I want to thank my brother from Metal Jaw Comics, or Roland Perez, just roll. I want to thank Will Diaz, who's probably heading to work right now, doing the OT in the sea. Never mind, I'm not going to say where it is, but he was doing the OT out there, and he's Toy and Comic Junkie. Go look for them on Facebook. Everybody actually has a Facebook. Metal Jaw Comics has a Facebook. Toy and Comic Junkie has a Facebook. Rip Comics Podcast actually has a Facebook page. But we also have a YouTube page. You can watch past episodes on the YouTube page. Make sure to subscribe. You will see all the episodes because they disappear. They don't stay here on the Facebook. You get to watch them live. You get to see the raw uncut episodes. And then what we do is we clean them all up and launch them off to YouTube land, where they have a theme song and all kinds of other stuff. And then we put those out there. So please subscribe. Yeah, please subscribe. What's going to eventually happen is we're going to probably live stream on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So eventually when that happens, we'll be streaming in two different places. So that way you keep in touch. Joker. Yeah, we get to see them all over the place. But subscribe, like, share, do everything you need to do. Rip Comics Podcast coming at you, episode 5 coming next week. And I guess it said we are going to talk about The Crow. the Crow comic, the Crow everything, the cards, the ring, the movies or movie. The debate is still out if we're going to include that TV show.
Maybe we can get the person who interviewed James O'Barr at the round table.
Yeah. Maybe we'll finally get the mysterious interviewer and see if he can come out, because I think that would be a great thing, because I think he was part of a lot of how making that instrumental. So until next time, keep ripping your comics.
Rip a good one. I guess we need to come up with a.
Yeah, we need a better slogan. But until next time.